Hey, good morning, fuckers, and welcome to another day at the Daily BM. I got Mikey with me. What's going on, bub?
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us at the Daily BM for another wonderful Friday.
Yeehaw! Chester's Daily. Hey, I got to start with something real quick before we get into today's episode. So I had an email come across, and it's pretty fucking gross. So I'm just going to read it. Okay, so somebody wrote us both directly, and they said, and I quote, "Hey, good morning, dudes. You guys complain about your cats a lot, so I figured I would tell you about mine. So my cats have been shitting outside the litter box for months now, and I can't seem to get it under control. So I decided I was going to give some payback." It gets gross, dude. So I had stomach cramps this morning really bad. So I decided to take a massive diarrhea shit inside their kitty litter box. I don't know how much this is bullshit or not. But I have to say, listener, if you shit in your cat's litter box with diarrhea, that's a pretty good fucking payback, but disgusting as hell. I just wanted you guys to know, because you complain about your cats being assholes, AKA especially Brad. So thanks, Mike. They gave you a little bit of love. They're saying that you don't bitch about your cats like I do. And I figured I would,
more than I do.
And I figured I would just share that information with you. Have an amazing day.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing that you had a diarrhea shit in your kitty litter. See, here's my thing. Human shit, especially when it's diarrhea, smells pretty fucking awful. You know what I mean?
And then you got cat shit.
Yeah, but then you have to fucking clean it. Yeah. I mean, how can you get
Joke's on you, buddy.
I know. Hey,
joke's on you.
Imagine him getting in the box, scratching and covering his own shit.
Yeah.
Typically,
when cats are shitting outside the litter box, it means one of like three things. One, they have some type of illness.
Right.
Two, which means that they are associating going to the bathroom with pain.
Right.
So they're avoiding the litter box.
Right.
Two, if you have more than one cat and you have one litter box, it could be a territorial dispute. So one of the cats is not going because he's constantly getting jumped.
Right.
Or three, it could be a behavioral neurological issue that you need to address. So for the first option, go to the vet, check them out, make sure they don't have anything going on. Second option is like relocate the litter box, move it a little bit further away from where it is, and also provide an additional litter box. Hope that helps.
Or I could give you my advice, and that is 4, your cat's just an asshole, and you need to go watch the movie Old Yeller. So,
wow. Okay, then.
Mike's like, wow, Brad went fucking ballistic on that one. Literally ballistic. If you get my drift, wink, wink.
Jesus, Brad, Jesus.
Where?
Taking the animals out.
Oh, he's coming today.
Taking out the animals.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you meant Jesus. Never mind.
Jesus de la Savior Christ.
So last night I was scrolling for like my normal nightly duties of taking an hour to figure out something to watch. We've talked about this before on other episodes where it's like you scroll endlessly forever looking for something worth a shit to watch. Whether
yes.
Do you app hop? I call it app hopping. Do you app hop frequently? Does it not drive you nuts when you've gone through all of them and can't find one thing worth a shit to watch?
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't tell you how many times where I will sit there and I will scroll for 20 minutes and just get frustrated and just turn it off and go do something else.
I read a book last night because I was getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
I was like, the hell with this. So while my wife was playing her game, I read a book, and then I ended up at the gym because I was just like, I can't take it, which is probably better for me than sitting there, in front of the TV set.
Watching shows.
So literally for like forever, I was sitting there. Now I did come down to one show, a movie. Right. And then I thought, well, it's late, number one. And I don't like watching horror flicks when I know I'm going to bed, because then you know how it gets stuck in your memory, and then you end up dreaming about the shit. And then it seems like it's even real. And this movie, I can relate. I think it's on Prime and it's on Apple TV, and it's called Stop Motion. And do you remember the little clay animations that people did, the
Yes.
movies where they had to like move each part to make the clay animation, and it was already creepy enough. I mean, those things are creepy as shit. I don't know about you, but I've always had like a thing.
Reminds me of Toy Soldiers.
Yes, like where they kind of like walk weird and shit, like in Toy Story, like when they're like, "Dart, dart, 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 dart," even though it's animation, they still kind of gave it that like feel when they would walk.
Yeah,
Same concept, but creepier. So I watched the trailer. Have you watched the trailer?
I have.
Okay, so tell me that shit ain't creepy.
I will not be watching it.
So I live, first of all, if anybody's listened to this show in the past and has stuck around with us, they know my wife is a creepy doll collector. Okay, so she like goes after vintage creepy ass dolls where one eye is like shooting off one direction, the other one's staring you dead in the face. So that way when you walk past it, the eyes follow you, like in the freaking haunted houses at Disney and shit, you know? So I have that. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, you want to watch this movie?" I was like, "Absolutely not." I was like, I have to get up and walk past these things to get drinks of water or whatever from the kitchen. And I know me, I'd be like having dreams of like walking past and the bitch like opens the cabinet, like Chucky, go gets a knife, picks it up, stabs me in the calf, drops me to the ground, and then stabs me to death in my own kitchen. That's the kind of shit, fucked up shit that goes through my mind. Yeah, I've got a big imagination when it comes to things like that. But yeah, I won't be
I
watching
don't
that
really
movie.
have that. I don't really have that anymore. My thing is with the horror movies is I've just kind of been horror movied out. Like I'm just kind of tired of seeing people get butchered and slashed. Or psychological suspense. Like I don't know what it is, man. Like I just reached my quota. Like I used to watch horror movies all the time, and then it just got too much, in my opinion, for me.
No, I get it. Now,
And I just don't find enjoyment like I used to out of them. Like it's like basically like you're just watching some 20 or something getting stalked and butchered, you know,
yeah.
and that's it.
Well,
And there might be a highlight. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I could say the last one that I watched was it was that movie that had oh my gosh. I just lost it. It literally just slipped my mind. It's
Was it a horror?
Maxine.
Oh,
It
okay.
was Maxine. It was when I was trying to think of the name of the first one.
Mhm.
Have you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Maxine with the 3 X's in the middle. It's where they're making the porno. And then it just has the old people in it, and it's really fucked up.
That was a really screwed up because they made 2 parts to that.
Yeah,
So
Pearl. It was
Pearl.
actually the first one I think was just called X.
Right.
Yeah, it
And
was
the next
X,
one
and
was
then they
Pearl.
had Pearl, and then the new one coming out is Maxine. That's the new one. Now
Well, they're
we'll
gonna
watch
have
that one because there's a third series in that one. It picks up after the last one ended. I did watch those because that was an interesting little twist. I mean, every once in a while I'll get a hankering to watch a hack and slash, but just not there right now.
I did like the fact, I will say, when you're talking about X and Pearl, I like the fact that it kinda had an old school feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like, it kinda throwback to, like, how the
80s
80s, 90s
slasher.
slashers were, you know? So,
Yeah.
because of that, it was intriguing, and it wasn't the
Mhm.
normal, "Hey, let me just, do something stupid." They still had the typical, you know it's kinda like how Eddie Murphy, we say it all the time, where, he says, "White people are stupid." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If something weird is going on and I'm detecting it, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge immediately, you know? But then you have the typical white female that goes, "Oh, let me run down this hallway and go check out where that noise is coming from." And you're like, "Oh my God, why are you so stupid?" But I mean, then you wouldn't have a movie because obviously it'd be like, "Okay, I'm leaving. The end." So I get it, but it's just like,
Yeah.
ugh. It's like, ugh. So I started watching this show. I will get to the movies in a minute, but I started watching this show called The Regime on Max.
Okay. Never
So
seen it.
okay, so the lady that played in Titanic, that basically pushed Jack down into the bottom of the ocean.
Rachel Wise, I think
Rachel
isn't
Wise, yeah,
that her
she
name?
plays like a chancellor at a country. So,
Okay.
and I want to say it's kind of like a cross between like a Polish German country. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you'll have to see just like one episode to see what I'm talking about. But she does
Right.
this thing with her lip and tries to like imitate but she's kind of fucked up in this show. And it's actually, at first I was like, okay, it's a little slow, but then it got intriguing to me. So check it out when you get a second. It's called The Regime. But the other one, and you've probably seen it, it's a DC show, Watchmen. Have you
It's
seen
a
that one
show.
yet on
I haven't.
Max?
No, I've not. I watched the movie. I know the characters, but I have not watched the show.
The show is actually really damn good.
I have not been watching a whole lot of TV lately.
Right. It's actually pretty good. So check it out. I know you like that kind of stuff, but more than you like Marvel. I know you like DC better than Marvel, so you might
the shows that you go ahead.
I was just saying, I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah, the shows that I recently watched I watched the new live action Airbender, The Last Airbender, on Netflix. It was pretty good. I've been watching Physical 100 on Netflix, which I like that show. That's a reality-based show on physical endurance tests to see who has the best physique type situation. It's based out of Korea, so it's a pretty good show. And then I just started one called Warrior, also on Netflix, which I'm really liking that one so far. It's in it's based in New York, turn of the century, when they started bringing in all the Chinese laborers right after the Civil War for construction work, and how the Irish were pushing back. I'm only 2 episodes in, so I don't have a lot of details, but so far I find it really interesting. It has a lot of kung fu in it, martial arts, so I really like that.
So it's violent, dark action is what it is. It's 3 seasons. Is that what that is? Okay.
Correct.
Because they have
I don't know if it got
Warrior.
canceled or not. Yeah, I don't know if it got canceled or not. I haven't looked that up yet. I just started it because it kind of caught my eye.
Right.
And I was trying to get something just to fill the space.
Right. Just to fill the time slot, so to speak.
Right. Now, I will tell you one of the things that jumped up to Netflix number 1. I don't know if you saw it, but it was The Accountant, the 2016 movie with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick.
Great movie.
Yeah, I really liked that movie. And then I was really excited because they just announced that they're making a sequel to it, The Accountant II. I thought it was such an awesome premise, where you have a person that has autism, is on the spectrum, and they're also an assassin, which badass,
Oh, you want to cheat on your taxes? I got you.
So it was a really cool premise. I think Ben Affleck did a pretty good job.
Is he going to be cast in the second one as well?
Yeah, it has all the same guys. It has the guy that played I can never remember his name, but it's the guy that plays the Punisher on the Marvel TV series. He's also
he plays Shane
in The Walking Dead.
Everybody calls him Shane from The Walking Dead because that's all they don't ever remember his name.
Yeah.
Did they cancel The Punisher too? Because I thought that was a great series too.
Yeah, so what happened there is when Marvel took over, his name is John Bernthal. But when Marvel took over, or not Marvel, when Disney took over Marvel, they pulled all the licenses from everyone else, Netflix and everyone. So that's why you lost the Iron Fist. That's why you lost Daredevil. That's why you lost Punisher, because they wanted to bring all that stuff in house and convert it to their woke agenda. So I'm sure we're gonna have a transgender, non-blind Daredevil here in a couple weeks.
Transgender, non-blind Daredevil.
Yeah. And the Punisher will be a 400-pound woman of
Feminist.
color.
Go running around.
Feminist. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Disney, I mean, I know I'm sidebarring here again, but
you're listening to the Daily BM.
Speaking of Disney, did you see where they gave up the fight in Florida against Ron DeSantis? They dropped the lawsuit.
No, I did not.
Yes, they dropped the lawsuit and said that they'll agree by the managing government for Reedy Creek or whatever it is that they were doing. Disney decided it wasn't worth the struggle and the fight. So the reality is hey, Santos won that one. The reality was that Disney had no choice.
So
in the matter.
Okay, since we're sidebarring, we can talk about politics for 2 seconds.
Sure.
I really do not like the situation that companies can endorse different politicians and put their money behind them. I think it would need to be legislative change. I think all broadcasting companies should allow X amount of spots per candidate for free to let them run for the office. I think that they shouldn't be charged for that. And I think so that way it would be equal playing field, because if you have somebody that comes in that's got billions of dollars behind them from corporate sponsors, the probability of their message getting out and them winning is extremely high compared to somebody that may be better at the job, but they just don't have the deep pockets, or they're not willing to cave to the large corporate conglomerates, for whatever they're lobbying for, whatever they want in legislation. So I think that's a really messed up situation, because it's really like a pay to play system as far as politics goes. And I think that, all corporations should be banned from allowing political contributions. And I think that the campaigning should be free, as far as for advertising and stuff like that. I think it should be just a public service that the media giants need to do. Allow the person to produce their spot, air all of them consistently, and let the people get the information so they can learn the candidates without it being a money race, because whoever has the most money usually wins.
Well, I'm
in my opinion.
I'm not endorsing either candidate running for president right now, but I'm just telling you what I'm about to say. But why do you think they're going after Trump the way they're going after him? And it's completely, if you have to have half a brain if you don't realize that this is completely political to drain the guy of money to be able to get out there and throw himself in front of the camera. So you are absolutely 100% correct on this, because I mean, even the companies and the banks, I mean, when you go and you read what the banks have said, they're like, everybody does this. Everybody. So that means, and now I want to say it's Jon Stewart, I want to say, that's now in the hot seat because he did the exact same thing. But why isn't he being indicted? Why isn't he going to court in the same state of New York? You know what I mean? So it's like that whole thing going down, if anybody with half a brain will realize that this is a corrupt movement to keep a candidate's voice quiet. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't keep Trump quiet anyway. The guy's got probably the biggest mouth on the planet. I mean, the guy likes to hear himself speak, But I always said, if he just shut the fuck up and do a good job, you know what I mean? But the guy just doesn't know when to shut up. But
right.
But the reality,
and that's why he is where he is, and he does what he does because he doesn't shut up.
Fuck up, right?
Unfortunately,
but
it's I don't know, man.
It's 22,
I don't know how I feel about that. We could probably talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it another show. But maybe we could do political Mondays or something. I don't know, and drop some politic bombs. But the reality is I think you're absolutely correct on your statement. Now moving back to movies, The Accountant 2. Let's shift back over to the movie thing. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that because I really enjoyed that movie. I'm one of those guys that likes Ben Affleck in just about every movie I've seen him in. I don't really
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I like him and Matt Damon.
I think he gets a lot of backlash, but I think he's really good in everything he does. He was even good as a Batman. I didn't think he was a bad Batman.
No. I think he played a good Batman. I feel like all the Batmans were actually good. Like I actually, even watching the most recent one, The Batman with Robert Pattinson, I think he did a good job for his age.
Right.
If you look at it not as a fully developed adult Batman, but a Batman that's learning his way.
Right.
I think it was a good movie. It was dark, it was gritty. It
Very
showed
dark.
Batman as much more of a detective, less fighting. I mean, there was fighting.
Right.
And it showed him, being like a young adult trying to figure out what you want to do in life, being filled full of vengeance and not knowing how to apply it and having a lot of money and resources at your disposal.
Yep.
I think Christian Bale was a good Batman as well. I think he overdid the voice a little bit now that I go back and watch him, but
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
Yeah,
I think it's incredible that you are on this Daily BM show.
Yeah. And then, of course, Michael Keaton, he's the original OG Batman.
Yeah,
he is Batman.
He is the OG Batman for sure. Totally a badass.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him because, it's much like all the superheroes. It's important to play their alternate ego.
Mhm.
Like it's more important to nail Clark Kent than it is to nail Superman, because Clark Kent is the harder role. Same thing with Peter Parker. That's the harder role than Spider-Man.
Correct.
You know, again with Batman, the Bruce Wayne part is the harder part because you've got to play like a philanthropist, billionaire that just likes to party all the time and like keep up the identity where no one goes, ooh, that guy's Batman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's such a dichotomy between who they are during the day and then who they are at night. That's what makes a good, character development. So I think that's where Michael Keaton really comes in, because when you see him as Bruce Wayne, you don't see Batman.
Right.
Like you don't see Batman in Bruce Wayne with Michael Keaton's character. And then when he transforms into Batman, it's like, holy shit, you don't see Bruce Wayne anymore. You see Batman, the Batman.
Yep.
And I thought that was really well done. Really well casted.
With Michael Keaton, if you really think about it, I mean, we won't stay on this very much because we're running out of time. But when you look at him, I mean, he was doing other roles like Mr. Mom and all these other things, man. And for him to come out and just nail it, I mean, he caught a lot of heat when they announced that he was the guy. They were like, "Oh my God, why did they cast this dude?" You know what I mean? And then
because he doesn't have the build, like he didn't have the build for what people thought Batman should look like.
But when a lot of people saw him in the first photo release next to the Batmobile with his suit and everything, they all went, "Holy shit." All the critics kind of shut up. And then it was just based on how well does he play the role when he acts it. And then he nailed that too. Now he did there is a part in the movie, and then and then we'll wind it down. But there is a part in the first one where he goes, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And I automatically thought Beetlejuice. Because that was a Beetlejuice line, you know what I mean? Because he's always going to go down as those two iconic roles, in my opinion, Beetlejuice and Batman.
Yeah,
and now you got Beetlejuice 2 coming out.
He's coming back out again in 2024. Yeah, and he looks amazing. And Winona Ryder doesn't look like she aged a day.
Dude, she's still hot. I don't know something about her.
She looks amazing,
doesn't she?
And I really like Jenna Ortega. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how she plays her part in this show.
And she's a little easy on the eyes too. I mean, so that always is a plus, when you have a beautiful lady who's super.
She's like a kid. She's 22,
like a kid, man.
You're like 53,
but you can still say somebody looks cute. I didn't say I wanted to take her out to dinner and bang her. I mean, hello.
You didn't say she's.
I said
cute.
She's easy on the eyes. That means she's cute. That's an old man's term, by the way. She's easy on the eyes.
Yeah. You fucking creeper.
You fucking pervert.
Freaking on a kid.
Pervert. Kid watcher.
I keep getting older and they just stay the same age.
You're just stolen. I was going to be like, you know what I like about high school girls? I get older and they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Well, listen, guys, don't forget, head over to Netflix and you can watch The Accountant. If you haven't seen it, watch that first. It's important that you watch the first one before you watch the sequel.
Well, the sequel's not out yet, but it's coming. But some other movies that you can go check out is Dune II. The new Ghostbusters, which I'm excited about. I actually want to see both of those. But I haven't been in the theater since pre-COVID, so I probably need to. Well, actually, you and I went one time to try to watch John Wick 4, but that was a massive failure.
That was a massive fail. And we talked about it on the show like last season, which was the AC going out and still trying to grin and bear it and watch it. And then the power went out. We were like, okay, it's time for us to leave. But
now I'm very excited. Also for Godzilla and Kong, the new Empire. That's coming out.
You love that shit.
Or it might already be out.
You love those Godzilla movies. I don't know what it is about you, but you love Godzilla movies.
I do. And then we also have The First Omen coming out, which that looks kind of scary and kind of creepy. And
hard pass.
There's quite a few other movies that look like they're coming out this
Hollywood has no excuses now. You know what I mean? SAG has no excuses. It's time to start making some good films.
Yeah,
they're
gonna start cranking out movies quite a bit faster, I think.
Good,
because they need to get the revenue stream going back up again. I have to be honest though, I kind of liked having the releases and being able to watch them at home.
Me too.
But I do have a movie room and I do have a pretty good sound system, so that does make my movie experience much different.
Dude, it's like going to a movie theater.
Don't have that.
You got a popcorn machine and all the other shit, candy machine, popcorn machine. You got all the stuff you need, all the fixings, man, along with it. That's why I like going to your place. I'm like, hey, man, you want to rent that bitch for $25? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And then you just go to your house and you got your own private viewing studio. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I want to upgrade my 86-inch to 100-inch though. I think
That's what she said. All right, guys.
one day.
one day surgery will come. But anyway, guys, don't forget, again, Netflix. That's where you can see The Accountant. Go ahead and watch it. Mikey, got anything before we get out of here?
Hey, everybody, go enjoy a flick this weekend. Kiss your loved ones and have an amazing weekend.
There you go. And don't forget, head over to dailybm.com where you can check out all our socials. Go to our YouTube and Rumble. We just picked up some more followers on Rumble. Thank you for subscribing. And with that, we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Have a good one.
Deuces.